Join me as I try to spot 10 surprising mistakes that even fluent English speakers still make. Let's see if I can catch them all. Fluent English speakers, you know who you are. You're the ones who effortlessly converse in English, confidently expressing your ideas and opinions without hesitation. But, believe it or not, even the most proficient speakers can fall victim to some pretty surprising mistakes that can go unnoticed, even by native speakers themselves. In today's video, we're going to expose these sneaky errors and explore why they're so important to address, even for those who consider themselves language experts. Maintaining language accuracy and fluency is a delicate balancing act, even for advanced speakers. On one hand, we want to communicate our ideas quickly and efficiently, without getting bogged down in grammatical nuances. On the other hand, we need to ensure that our message is conveyed clearly and accurately, without losing our audience in the process. It's a tough balancing act, and it's precisely this tension that can lead to mistakes slipping through the cracks. One reason we tend to overlook these mistakes is because they often involve subtle, yet crucial distinctions in language. For instance, the difference between who and whom can be tricky, even for native speakers who've grown up using both words in conversation. Another reason is that we often rely on our ears rather than our grammar rules, which can lead to mistakes born out of familiarity rather than incorrect knowledge. As fluent speakers, we're constantly drawing upon our linguistic intuition to guide our language production. However, this intuition can sometimes lead us astray, particularly when it comes to contexts where our default language settings don't quite fit the bill. That's why it's essential to stay vigilant, regularly scrutinizing our language habits to ensure we're communicating as accurately and effectively as possible. Moving on, let's dive into the top 10 surprising mistakes that even fluent English speakers still make, and explore why they occur in the first place. From misused homophones to pronoun confusion, we'll cover it all. Mistake number 1, using accept and accept interchangeably. You'd be surprised how often even advanced speakers get these two words mixed up. The key is to remember that accept is about receiving something, whereas accept is about excluding something. Easy to confuse, but crucial to get right. Mistake number 2, confusing its and its. This one's a classic, and yet, it still trips up some of the most fluent speakers. Remember, its is possessive, whereas its is a contraction of it is. Simple, but essential. Mistake number 3, using effect instead of effect, or vice versa. This one's particularly sneaky because both words can be used as either verbs or nouns. The trick is to determine whether you're talking about an action or a consequence. Mistake number 4, saying could've instead of could have. This mistake is more common than you think, and it's a great example of how our ears can deceive us. Remember, could've is never correct, it's always could have. One mistake that really resonates with me is the tendency to misuse the word literally. We've all been there, we're trying to emphasize a point, and before we know it, literally slips into our sentence, even when we don't mean it literally at all. It's a mistake that's become so prevalent, even native speakers are guilty of it. The overuse of literally is particularly interesting because it reveals a deeper linguistic issue, our need for emphasis. We want to convey strong emotions and reactions, and sometimes, we just get a bit carried away. But by acknowledging this tendency, we can start to correct it, and communicate more effectively as a result. Another mistake that's all too relatable is the inclination to use phrases like I'm not going to lie or to be honest. These phrases are essentially verbal tics, we use them to sound more authentic or transparent, but in reality, they're often just filler words that dilute our message. Finally, there's the mistake of using overly complex vocabulary in everyday conversations. We've all been guilty of this at some point. We're trying to sound smart, but really, we're just confusing our audience. In conclusion, even the most fluent English speakers can benefit from examining their language habits and addressing these sneaky mistakes. It's all about cultivating a growth mindset and recognizing that language is a journey, not a destination. Thanks for watching, everyone. If you're fluent in English, chances are you've made some of these mistakes before. Share your own experiences with us in the comments below, and don't forget to check out our other language-related videos for more tips and tricks to improve your English skills.